What's going on, everybody? This is an episode from the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast. Do you like podcasts and you want to see the full podcast? Make sure you check out the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast on all your podcast platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, among many others. But you're listening to the episode right here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that like button and below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to NC Studios and NC Level Up for all your gaming needs. This is the Nerd Coalition. Enjoy the show. But this week on Dark Side of the Ring, we got the life and times of Nick Gage.
The ultra violence of Nick Gage.
The ultra violence of Nick Gage. So it's like, well, if you want to see New Jack, well, here go white New Jack for y'all, because this guy was crazy too. Now, once again, Nick Gage, I'm not. First of all, let's just get into it like this. Prime, how do you feel about death matches?
I'm not a fan of, like, okay, I guess it sounds weird. I somewhat like the Cactus Jack and Terry Funk death matches and the barbed wire death matches and the Onita death matches. But I'm not like a ECW death match type of person.
I think I understand what you're, I think I get
like just gigging and just throwing vacuum cleaners and all that, and just whatever you can find. Light tubes and all that. I was never a light tube person.
No, I'm not a fan of the light tubes, the fire that don't burn. That doesn't go out. The cinder blocks, the barbed wire bits. You know what the biggest thing I don't like about it? It's not the fact that they are always doing it. It's the fact that they no sell it or it's a kick out. And they gotta keep upping themselves. I'm they were showing footage of guys giving themselves Michinoku drivers off the top of a rider truck.
No, that was him and oh my God, Janela. That's why I first knew who that was, because he did that. Yeah, I think Janela had broke his tailbone or something on that.
Doing a Michinoku driver off the rider truck through these these fluorescent lights and stuff like that, and there's a kick out. That move right there is a finish alone, and they think it's cool to keep kicking out. That stuff is not entertaining. And if they do hardcore wrestling within a way of a storyline, I didn't mind the John Moxley Kenny Omega lights out match.
Well, you got to think about it too. Their audience is just bloodthirsty. So the more blood, the more they like it. So I've never been like that, but some people think if it ain't no blood, that they don't like it. So it's like the more you get hurt in real life, the more that they like it. They don't care about your health.
You're right. Well, then we enter in Nick Gage. So, like I said, and then he was big in CZW. I hated CZW back then. I still don't like CZW like that. Back then, I was like, ECW was a thing, and then after, of course, WWE just bought all of the companies and stuff like that. And CZW was getting big, and Ring of Honor was getting big. I was like, oh God, CZW. I did not like Combat Zone Wrestling at all.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I mean, I still don't like the style. It just don't. It's not a. It's like they trying to be ECW, but we can be more extreme, but it's like they're not more extreme, they're just more stupid, in my opinion.
Well, it's not even as a pit. I agree with you, because it is stupid. And a lot of these things that these guys are doing, I'm like, y'all don't even have the resources to protect your guys.
You don't even have enough money to pay the medical bills.
It's what I'm saying. Y'all don't have an ambulance on standby. Y'all don't have, fire extinguishers to put out these guys. Some of them don't, and I'm like, why would y'all even do a spot with fire, or you don't have the fake fire where the fire can actually go out or its own do contact, but you don't have no fire extinguisher.
I'm gonna tell you this stupid spot I seen that happened day before yesterday. Is a dude had his car set on fire and then had it put out with not a lawnmower but a weed whacker. And it didn't go out, so he was just on fire.
I heard about that. I didn't see it because I didn't want to, but I heard about it, And I was like, this is so stupid. This was like this, and this guy's run. I heard the guy running around, and they don't have no fire extinguishers. So why would you do a spot so your crotch on fire? Like, how is that even entertaining to the wrestling match?
I don't know, but we'll get into the fire spot later on.
Yeah. So they introduced us to Nick Gage, and the company. So it started off with a bang with him in this deathmatch tournament where they're like in this field where it's just like 30 people.
Tournament of death.
Yeah, tournament of death. And so then they got these fluorescent lights around there.
So I've never seen a CZW like that, like as far as knowing what event is what. But for some reason, I knew this event. That's weird. For some reason, I was like, oh, I've seen this event before. Not knowing, like, I didn't know what happened at the end, but I'm saying I knew, like, this event is the one that they always play. I guess because they was just the only one that was outside or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know this event.
So, he has this matchup, and the guy throws on the ring ropes. They have all these fluorescent lights that's there. He throws them through the lights, and one of them cuts a major artery. This man is bleeding buckets underneath his armpit.
You know what? Before we get into that, you know how mad I am? He had on a Jordan jersey. You know the disrespect.
Oh, yeah, exactly. He got a whole classic Jordan jersey on, and that Jordan's blood everywhere on him.
The disrespect.
He's up there talking about just bandage me back up so I get back to the match. I'm like, bruh, you dying right now.
Yeah, so, did you hear the part he was like, can I at least try to make it go back there? Y'all can stop me to make it look like I was trying to go back.
Exactly. I'm like, yo, bro, for 30 people, screw them people. So they had to get him a helicopter rescue because the ambulance could not get to wherever field they was in. And they helicopter rescue, and then
I think they could have he could have went in the ambulance, but like they were so far away from any hospitals or anything to where it's like you have to get a helicopter. Yeah. And then just real quick, for context, what they didn't show is Moxley actually came out and finished the match for him.
Who came out and finished the match for him?
Moxley,
yes.
Came out and finished the match for Nick Gage. So. Yeah, John, that was crazy.
That was. So he's in the helicopter and he legally dies for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Like he flatlines.
Long time.
And he legally dies for 7 minutes. So I was like, maybe that would give him a new lease on life or something like that. No, but then after that happened, it's kind of like, now we're going backwards. So now we're talking about how he used to grow up and he loved his mom, and he unfortunately, lost his mom to breast cancer, and then he had a brother, and they used to watch Saturday Night's Main Event with what was it, his grandfather or his dad? His dad all the time, but they wouldn't do that. But they seen the Terry Funk and Cactus Jack matchup, Mick Foley and Terry Funk and doing the C4 and stuff like that, and that's what they wanted to do, especially with that backyard style, and how they had the barbed wire, and then they would have like little barbed wire matches. These kids having barbed wire matches.
Yeah, kids, yeah.
I'm like,
legit barbed wire too.
No, man, this is stupid. So he talks about that, and we get more into the story. Like, we get to some character pieces where then he started getting into with the style of wrestling he was. It required pain pills, oxycodone, so this stuff that my parents take. And this is a very powerful drug, and he is like, getting more into the drugs and getting zooted. So he's supposed to have a match with his brother, because his brother got into professional wrestling also. What was his brother's name? Do you remember his brother's name?
Justice Payne.
So he's supposed to get a match with his brother, and then he was Jeff Hardy zooted in the ring. Almost Scott Hall level, what he had to help him out. And his brother slaps the hell out of him so hard and try to, snap him out of it. It don't really work. Then he just gives him his finish, which kind of dislocates his shoulder.
His brother slapped him so hard.
Yo, talk about pissed. His brother put up a fish and just say, "Oh, fuck this guy, man," and slammed him down and then pinned him and then just walked out. That was the last time he ever talked to his brother.
That's funny. That's not funny, but I was like, right. Because when he did it, I was like, oh, look like he broke his shoulder. He was like, yeah, I hurt my shoulder. Obviously.
Go all the way. I was like, this he landed right on that shoulder. He's like, I dislocated my shoulder. I was like, yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen here for that. So now he's going down to a downward spiral of, not having a place and losing his money and going broke. And he's there's a time he was with his girlfriend, and he would just sit on the couch, and then her mother finally kicked him out, and then the owner of that when they was wrestling out in the field, CCW, whatever the case would be, he found
the owner. He was the referee in CZW, but he's the owner of GCW.
GCW, okay. Found him in his house, and he was like, "Oh man, you gotta get clean." So now he really is hitting rock bottom. So then he has the idea of going to rob a bank. Full face out, no hide, no identity, nothing. Not saying that y'all should take this idea and go rob a bank. No, that's not what you should do at all. But
hey. Even the person that robbed the bank I was in was more subtle than that.
Say what?
Even the person that robbed the bank I was in was more subtle than that.
Yeah, oh my God. You was inside the bank doing a robbery?
Yes. If you want to call it that.
Oh.
If you want to call it that.
Sure. So he goes and robs his bank, and then he comes back and gives the promoter of the GCW. Yeah. And it was just like, he's like, what is all this? He said, money, I just, robbed a drug dealer. He said, no, man, these is fresh crisp bills. You rob a bank? And he said, yeah. So, but Moxley gets his email, and he sees the security footage of Nick Gage robbing this bank.
I think the picture made it so much funnier.
It did.
So funny.
It so did. If Moxley was just like, yo, this is clearly Nick Gage, and he wears a mask and a bandana and come out to the ring all the time, but now this motherfucker don't even wear a mask. He just out there full face. So now he knows he's dead to rights. So instead of saying, look, turning myself in, he goes to Atlantic City with his girl to blow all the money. You're like, I'm about to go to jail, so I might as well go have fun anyway. So he takes the money. I don't know if they got into the amount he stole. And first of all, what year was this? Did they say the year?
2010, I'm assuming.
Oh, wow.
I'm assuming it's 2010 because he came out 2016 and then he came out 15, and then, maybe 2010, 2011-ish.
Okay, because I wasn't too familiar with the years. He wasn't saying it. So he goes to Atlantic City, blows all this stuff, and then the guy kept calling him like, "Yo, you ready to turn yourself in? You ready to turn yourself in?" And he said, "No, not yet." He said, finally on like the 9th day, he said, "Yeah, I'm gonna turn myself in." So he gets counts for aggravated robbery, and he gets sentenced to 5 years in prison. Mm-hmm. Now he does serve four of them years before he's out on parole. His girlfriend comes up and he's all excited to see him. And but while he was in jail, he started getting fan mail. So it motivated him to say, "Look, I'm gonna be better wrestler. I'm gonna drop the cheeseburgers. I know you still get in prison." And then he was, started working out and started to build some muscle and to get, basically to not let his fans down. So he gets out of jail, and they like, okay, well, since you're out of jail, we're gonna, book this whole tournament around you to help give you some guidance called the Nick Gage Deathmatch Invitational, I think it was.
Yep.
And then they looking for him. They get another call.
But by the way, they still do this to this day. I think the latest one they did, he fought Moxley. I think.
Okay, is this still CZW? Is this still around?
No, it's GCW.
Okay.
Game Changer Wrestling. But I'm saying, like, the most recent, I think, Nick Gage thing that they did was Nick Gage and Moxley, and that was like March.
Oh wow. Okay, I definitely missed that.
But yeah, so it was very recent of them kind of going at each other. But yeah, my bad. You can continue.
No. So he does that, but then come to find out he violated his parole, and now he got to go back to jail for 2 more years.
Yeah.
And he was pissed like, yo, I'm doing all this stuff and you can't keep out of trouble. So he's back in jail for another 2 years. Mm-hmm. He gets out of jail. So is this when he finds out about his brother?
No, it's when he fights David Arquette.
The David Arquette thing. So now we go with David Arquette.
By the way, this is when I first heard of Nick Gage.
Okay. Now, the David Arquette thing. Now, David Arquette does have a documentary that's out. That's on Amazon Prime, I think it is. And I gotta check that thing out. But here's the thing. It came out early.
I don't think it's about this though.
Well, they had footage of this match in there.
Oh, so probably. I'm just saying because I know he was he's in like 3 documentaries this year that came out. So Dave Arquette's been around the way, I guess.
Yeah, it's around the way, girl. Well, look, for those who don't know, David Arquette is an actor. But David Arquette is a huge wrestling fan. And David Arquette was a WCW, and he is a former WCW champion when he won it back in 2000 or WCW Thunder?
Yep.
And that was just terrible.
I would say he even admits that it was promotion for the movie and he wasn't even taking it seriously, so he wanted to come back and take wrestling seriously.
Yeah, well, the fans hate David Arquette for that, so he decided that he wants to earn the fans' respect. So he heard that they want to have a match with Nick Gage, a death match, and he said, "Cool." So he sets up a dinner for him and the guy from GCW and everything like that to had this matchup. But he said, "I only got one rule: don't cut me." So he said, "All right, but I'm going to take this. I want to take this very seriously, because this stuff." He said, "This thing is real. That glass you feel in that ring, the lights and stuff like that, all that stuff is real." So Arquette admitted he was in over his head. So they had a match, and he beat the shit out of Arquette. It ain't like mass transit.
Real quick, though, before you get into that, he said, look, don't cut me. He said, all right. He said, you sure now? Don't cut me. He's like, all right, I'm not going to cut you. He's like, all right, so we good? We good. But I'm going to beat you up for real. He's like, okay, I get that. Just don't cut me. He said, okay. You know how many, and Nick Gage even said, yes, I confirmed with him like 4 times.
He still cut him.
Yes, that's the, yeah, unfortunate.
Exactly. There's no way you get it around there. Because they said that with New Jack, you knew that was going to happen. You knew.
Yeah, but it's still like, that's about people, that's people like that shouldn't be arrested, in my opinion.
You're right.
You take the trust out of it. You're like, yeah, take the trust out of it. It's like, I expect you to drop me on my head safely when I ask you not to cut me, and then you just cut me. It's like, all right. And not only did he cut him across the head, he cut him across the neck, or he got cut across the neck somehow with the light tube.
That right there stuff is insane. First of all, David Arquette was out of his mind for doing that match in the first place.
Well, yeah, he should have did a regular match, but.
Yeah, and not go home against Nick Gage. So Nick Gage is he's sitting there. He said he felt as though that his trust was betrayed because Nick Gage was going. He was getting all up in the crowd, and he wasn't listening to what they were asked him, and he takes out the pizza cutter, one of his trademarks. And he said you won't even feel it, and he felt that thing in his mouth, and then he felt a thing across his forehead, and it cut him.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pizza cutters are sharp, y'all. If nobody ever held a pizza cutter before, so you know.
Yeah, and then he thought that was it. Which is all right, not to laugh, but this next part to me was funny how Nick Gage explained it.
Yeah, what happened in that next part?
Like, because he had the light to he hit him across the forehead with it, and he was like going to like jam into his head.
Yeah.
But Arquette was like, "No, I'm not doing this." He moved and like it sliced him across the neck. And then Arquette was like, "Yes, I moved and it sliced him across my neck." And I was bleeding. That's how Arquette explained it. And then Nick Gage was like, "Yo, I seen him, stabbed him in his neck." I was like, "Did I just kill Arquette?"
Yeah. Oh, exactly. So you can tell by the end of the match that Arquette was not feeling this no more. He was like, "Yo, he's gonna get on him for giving him the real moves," and then he pins him. He goes right back to his neck, and he told him he was in over his head for trying to get involved in all that, which I do agree with.
I mean, I don't think he was in over his head because he said, "Look, I would do a death match as long as I don't get cut. I get beat up. I know it's tough. I do all that." But like for Nick Gage to get mad, Nick Gage is mad at David Arquette because Nick Gage cut David Arquette. It's like you get mad at me because you cut me, and I'm mad at you because you cut me. And then he gonna tell him, "Get down, stay down, or I kill you." It's like, come on, man.
Well, he probably felt so that he was he wasn't too much of a wuss. Well, how you would say it. But after that, things just started going bad for Nick Gage because his brother committed suicide and jumped off the Walt Whitman Bridge, which is not that far from me.
Yeah, he said he lived like right in front of it.
Yeah, so they said the story was some cops was chasing him. I think he was high and paranoid, and there's the railing, and he jumps right off the railing, and then jumps off the bridge and kills himself. And he said the only note they left behind was just sorry, nothing else. So that was actually heartbreaking. It kind of actually humanized Nick Gage because he really loved his mom. That he lost his mom to breast cancer, and then it's just like he comes out every day, sees that bridge from his brother, knowing that that's where he jumped off at. Then he had he was doing a speech in front of the fans and thanking the fans. Then we go right into this MDK thing, the murder, death, kill gang that he's a part of. And talk about how the fans really had his back, and he says that he's in turns that he's going to die young before he gets old, and he wants to die in the ring, doing one of the matches, doing what he loves to do, and that's basically all it was to the documentary. Unless I'm missing something.
He did get set on fire.
Oh, the whole set of So the whole set on fire part was, he's doing this match with the fire, and he gets suplexed onto the table, but the table don't go out. And he's still stuck on fire. Now he said He said that stop, drop, and roll shit, man. That don't even work. But here's the thing.
He was not doing that.
I'm about to say, how you gonna say stop, drop, and roll don't work when you clearly weren't doing it? Say that shit don't work. You didn't stop, get down, and roll. You sat up there and it was all on your feet first off, and you tried to roll. And you heard took off your shirt. You just felt that shit burning your skin. That's why. Oh God, I was like, really? Yeah, that's what one of the days right there. I was like, I don't understand, the purpose or the culture behind this, these matches.
Yeah.
It's really terrible. But that was episode 2. I know there are some people that kind of skipped it or kind of watched it. But how did you feel about it?
I mean, pretty much was the New Jack episode of the season.
Say what?
It was pretty much the New Jack episode of the season. I think
Well, I think the New Jack one was a better episode.
Well, yeah. He was funnier.
Yeah.
It was cool though.
Say what?
It was cool just to see it, but I probably wouldn't watch it again.
Well, next week is the the War in the Coliseum, right?
Yeah, Korea.
Okay, WCW in Korea.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that should be a good one. How you feel about that one?
That's probably the one I'm looking most forward to, aside from the plane ride or the other thing, another episode I can't remember. That's probably the one I'm looking most forward to.